What's up, guys? How's it going? So the other day we put a little video down on Instagram, just a little 1 minute like brief on just these townhouse jobs. So these ones here are units 1 through to 6. Two are standalone and 2 units of two multi-unit dwellings. So what I wanted to do is just spend sort of 10 minutes and go through all the detail that is required in this job for this builder. So the thing with building, obviously, depending where you guys are at, if you're doing labor only stuff, if you're doing contract stuff, or you just want to start learning more about pricing, this is sort of what I can offer and what I want to start doing. So I obviously still want to show the snippets on Instagram, but not give away any value. And then in this group, I really want to go down into like specific detail on how we price these jobs, how we go through them, and how we itemize out all the sort of nooks and crannies of each of these jobs. And the main thing is giving the builder confidence that all the items that are included in his scope, when he's presenting this to his main client, tier one, tier two, tier three client as a labor only builder, they're not missing anything. So that's the biggest message we get a lot of, which is, we don't have time to go through the job. We want to make sure that our scope's good enough. We want to make sure that we're making money. And that's what people use us for. We're definitely like all the builders are pretty knowledgeable. They know how to price, they know how to do it. A lot of them just don't have time, and I believe we're just providing a service where we're giving a really good format on how we do it. And the time frames that we can present it back in. I mean, he sent this one in on a Thursday and it had to be back in by Tuesday, so we pumped it out over the weekend. But yeah, anyway, I thought I'd just go into some detail here. So because it's a labor only, it's not a full contract. It won't take too long to go through. So yeah, 5 townhouses here. We'll go down into the floor plans. This has got obviously sort of like the landscaping and like the services locations. Here's the units just showing where they are. The plumbing and the drainage has nothing to do with us. So when we're doing a labor only, we literally just skip straight to the floor plans. So the biggest thing that I check here is the area. So we've got 41.67 on the ground floor. Then we've got 36 on this floor here. So if we just go, sorry, that was a camera. I want to bring up the calculator. So if we bring up 36 plus 41.67. So this unit is here 77.67. So all of these units here are roughly between 75 and 78 square meters. So we don't go into like incredible detail. Everything is changing as the meter rate. We just get an average. So the biggest thing is here is we've got frames on the down floor, one set of stairs, one bathroom down there. The ground floor here, little laundry, things that we look for a lot. Like kitchen's got nothing to do with our scope, but for labor only, I just want to look for like frames, wardrobe doors. That's going to get subbed out as well. Bathroom, what we're doing in the bathroom. The builder has said the shower companies will do the showers, so we're just doing jib linings. Well, actually, we're not even doing jib linings. A jib company's doing that. So we'll hang the vanity, hang the mirror, hang the toilet roll holder, install the doors, and finishing lines. So what we do on this is for unit 1 and 6 are exactly the same. So this builder wants to charge out at $65 an hour, which is what we've done here. So at the top, we've got the total labor for one unit, 31,257. I'll show you how we come back to that soon. In the notes section, I always just put some items in here. Like for example, units 1 and 6. So unit 6 had 7 units of joinery. Unit 1 had 11. So what I've done is just take an average of 9. And then when we come down to the aluminium joinery install, we've just averaged 9 units here for 2 units instead of having to make a whole nother spreadsheet and go unit 1 is 7, unit 6 is 11, just to keep things easy and clean. They're still installing the same amount of windows. No allowance to install showers and jib, just to be real certain there. So anyway, moving on just to the labor components. So we'll just go, I won't break out each unit. I'll just show you how we do one unit in pretty good detail. So first things first, when you get to the morning, you're going to mark out your frames. Up here, we've got toolbox talks. We've allowed 15 units at 65. So that might be like for about 4 weeks, this guy's scope will be, we'll just allow every morning, a couple of hours with the boys, talk over what they're going to do for the week. That's the scope in there. So mark frames, we've got 2 hours to ping lines out. Stand frames first floor. So because it's a small unit, I mean, literally they're just exterior frames. There's only one interior frame in there. So I've allowed 12 hours. That'll be for 2 guys. So those frames will be up by 12 o'clock. Absolute outside. They'll probably be up by 10 o'clock. But by the time you allow to denail the frames, make sure the DPC's on, moving frames around, reading plans, standing, blah blah blah, you'll say midday. There are some steel portals in this one. So when we go down to like our framing plan here, so we've got 180 PFCs, 250s, 250s through there. So there are some PFC steel frames in there. So we've got 6 hours just to stand them. Then we've got another 4 hours just to install all the bolts, do all the fixings, strap the timber to the portals. There's details right down the bottom of the sheet showing that the facing timber's on the inside. The top plate gets bolted down to the portals. So there's going to be like drilling to be done, plates to be bolted and strapped to that. So there's a bit of time in those. So all in all, we've pretty much allowed 15 hours just to drop those steel in. Also, HIAB on site question mark. So we'll tag out moving or physically installing. This would literally just be to assist the HIAB man, and land the portals on the frames. Okay. Bolt down the frames and ram set. So 2 hours, not going to be that long. Brace the frames. I've allowed one guy for pretty much an afternoon or just half a morning just to go through, brace everything up. Like I said again, there's pretty much only going to be on this bottom floor anyway. There's going to be one long frame, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you could allow 10 minutes per frame to brace. Easy. Just allow a couple of hours there. I'll try and scroll down to this detail all the way down the bottom. Just showing the top plate detail strapping to the PFCs. So this is stuff that I look for when we're going to go through and do these. Bear with me, because this is always little details that it just gives the builders confidence that we know what we're doing, and we look for these details. So here we go here. So here's the PFC beam here. Where is it? Plate strapping to PFC somewhere here in this detail. Excuse me. There's heaps of details I should be looking for, but can't seem to find this one right now. Anyway, I'll go back up. So there is a PFC detail there which I need to strap down. So pretty much working on just standing first floor frames and getting the steel in. If I highlight all these hours here, I've got 45 hours. So that is pretty much 2 days, 2.5 days for two guys to get all the frames up, portals, top plates down. So that's more than enough time when we look at it on that scale. So then we come to mid-floor section. So for the mid-floor, we've got set out for mid-floor, install mid-floor framing, install the stair units. So in here, there'll be a set of stairs. I've probably been very generous on the hours there, but that could include things as well, such as delivery on the truck, moving them off the truck, helping the truck driver, de-strapping, moving onto site, getting everything prepped and ready to go. So that is the set of stairs here. So there's a lot of time in that, so I just know by experience just to sort of overcook the time on the stairs. But for set out, mid-floor framing and stair units, we've got 34 hours, so 2 days. So that would include, if we go back to this detail here, 240 by 63 floor joists to be laid out on top of those top plates and fixed down, okay? Then when we come to mid-floor 19mm flooring, we're pretty much allowed just under a day. So there's only 70 squares. So if you divide that by 2.88, which is one sheet of ply, so if you go 70 divided by 2.88, that gives you, there's pretty much 24 sheets. And then if you divide that by the 18 hours they've got there, so they've got 1.35 hours per sheet to do that, which is more than enough. Also, we've allowed an additional 6 hours, half a day, for someone to go through and screw down all the sheets. Cut out penetrations for bathrooms, assist the plumber with pipe work. If they're having to drill through or make some bigger holes in those joists, then there'll be pipe penetration brackets to go in, lumber lock brackets, so we allow for that. So coming to the second story framing now, pretty much once the same again. We always allow a little bit more hours just because we're at heights. So working up scaffolds, lagging stuff up onto the frame. So what we can do is we go there, 0.15. We can just allow a little bit more margin, just to allow for additional time for second floor. So as you can see, we'll go equals plus 15% there. And then you highlight that item, drag that all the way over, and that just allows a little bit more time, okay? Once again, brace frames, install the top plates, check square, level, plumb. Then we move on to trusses, pretty simple. I'll go find a detail on this one. Standard trusses, 900 centers, so they'll pretty much get dropped on site. unpick them, unnail them, stand them, brace them. So 2 hours to mark them out on the roof. Install trusses, 18 hours. So one day, pretty much just to separate the trusses, stand them, brace them out. Install rafter fixings. So that'll be for sort of rafters set up for the fly rafters for the soffits around the outside. Install strap bracing, lumber lock kits. Get the roof ties all done, strapped. Make sure it's all holding square and tight. Frame out for the soffits. Half a day to go around and frame out the 90 by 45s on the edge of the trusses. Mark out the purlins there. 1 hour for purlins, pretty easy. Just marking 900 centers on the top, off the bottom. It'll all be off scaffold there. Install the purlins, 8 hours. So 2 guys a morning just to bang those purlins on, and then we've got 2 hours just to screw off the purlins. So when we look at that, you've got 11 hours. So it might take 2 guys just to get all the purlins knocked up and done. Remember, it's only 70 squares up the top there, so it's not a lot of purlins. So we've allowed 11 hours. Might take 2 guys 4 hours to do that, and then an afternoon for 1 guy just to go through, cut, screw everything off, and nail it all down. Ceiling battens on the inside of the house, so 2 hours just to mark out 600 centers on the bottom floor and the top floor. Once again, not a lot of space. It's only 8 meters. What do we got? 8 meters across times by 6. So yeah, 6 divided by 600. You're gonna have whatever that is there. 6 meters divided by 600. 10 runs of 10 runs of ceiling battings going across at 7 meters. Times that by 2. I've allowed a day to pin all those up. So in miscellaneous items, this is stuff that I always add in. So install fixings, vanity, kitchen, range hood. So there's always going to be some items there. Kitchen companies come in and they'll say their contracts to do the majority of the work, but they're always going to call upon a builder to help or do something, cut this or help install this, screw the range hood up, or do some seals or silicons. So we just allowed 2 hours there. The vanity only takes half an hour. Most of the time the plumbers do it, but I'll always put an allowance in for the builders to do it as well. Tidy up extras, 8 hours. There's a day. Also at the top of this fee, we've also got site tidies as well. So every week, over the course of the job, I've just allowed 20 hours for his scope of works. But I'll always creep a few more hours in there. Install all strap bracing. So I know up the top of the roof, we had strap bracing on for the roofing components. Just as you're working on heights and working across purlins, it can take a bit of time. So this will be for your frame bracing, just for standing all your frames, your internal straps. Install jib handy brackets. There is a bracing schedule on this as well. Have trouble finding all these details, skipping through all the plans, but there is a lumber lock bracing schedule, so there'll be jib handy brackets for a junior to go through and do all that. Once again, if he thinks about it, if we're billing that out at 65 an hour, he'll have one of his apprentices or labourers on that doing that for 30 or 28. So really, he's got 6 hours to do that. So if that takes him half a day, he's still making money. Then we come to the exterior work. So for this one, it's not as big of a scope. As you can see on these jobs, it's mainly brickwork. There's only a bit of cladding in here. So yeah, not a lot for him to do there, but we've still gone through and broken it all out. So building wrap, 8 hours, 4 hours on the bottom, or 2 hours on the bottom, 6 hours on the top, more than enough time there. Building flashing tapes, just to tape up all the windows, tape up everything inside. There's about 11 units on this one, so 4 hours, about 10 minutes per window. Cavity battens, I've allowed 1.5 days for 2 guys to go through and batten the whole place. So down floor is probably only going to take 3/4 of a day. Up top, probably 3/4 of a day. So there's more than enough time on that one. And Scotia trim between the soffit and the cladding. So there's a little detail on that. I didn't add that detail in on these components over here for cladding. I've just added it in here. So once again, just a line item that you don't want to forget. It's on the details. So that's just between the window and the soffit joins. I'll have a look, see if I can find it. You can see it, and you just want to allow to put those little decorative trims up between the soffit and the cladding there. Not there. Here it is here. Painted 30mm bevel back corner. So that's just on the items where the weatherboard meets the window. So if we go back up to this elevation here, so there's a lot of scrolling up and down. So everywhere where there is an elevation, showing the windows meeting the soffit. There'll be a trim there. So where that weatherboard meets the soffit up there, there'll be a trim in there, a trim in there, a trim in there. So there's not too many trims to go up, but I've allowed pretty much, yeah, a couple of hours for someone to bang around and go and put all those in. Joinery again, 9 units. If you look at all the hours, he's got 55 hours. So he's got about 3 days. Downstairs won't take too long, probably a day, but then the other 2 days will be allowed for upstairs as well. That's to put all the units in, the head flashings, silicon seals. So on that aluminium joinery spreadsheet that I sent through, I've broken it out into like 10 minutes, half an hour, 45. So I've just used those same templates, brought it over to here, but I just wanted to show the hours here. Interior works, insulation, ceilings. 5 hours for the top. It's only 60 or 70 squares up top there. 40, sorry. So not a lot of time at all. One junior. Day and a half to insulate all the walls downstairs. Once again, bathroom works, hang the vanity. 1 hour. We've almost double clipped that, but that's okay. More hours to give your builder, the better. Hang mirror, half an hour. Install your toilet roll holder, half an hour. Silicon's finishing, so there's always going to be stuff to do in the bathroom. The plumber might not bloody do the seal between the vanity and the wall. Might not do it around the toilet, the shower. So always just got to allow extras. Builders take a lot of responsibility, so I'm always trying to add those hours in. Skirtings and arcs, just to keep things simple. So there's quite a lot of skirtings on that, so I've allowed a day and a half for a builder to rip around and do those, and almost 2 days to do all the arcs. Probably a little short on time, but I was just watching the labor only rate on this build, and I was getting a little bit concerned because we were creeping up around 300. So I just wanted to make sure our hours were sitting okay, and then we've got areas to reduce off margin anyway. And then we come down to the door units. So once again, you pretty much just go through, calculate all the doors that we've got. So for this one, we had, what do we have downstairs? So that will be subbed out, that'll be subbed out, that'll be subbed out, but I've put an allowance in for that anyway, just as backup. So I've got wardrobe door units, 3 downstairs, and then upstairs we've got 1, 2, 3 as well. So I've allowed for 6 units, 2 hours per unit. So that will just be to install the 140 trims on the side. The doors will come pre-made, and then we'll hang the doors. So the door jamb units, there's only 3 of these. So as you can see, we've got 1 door here, 2, 3, and then downstairs, sorry, none downstairs as there's no doors. That exterior door is on the exterior joinery unit, and then these will be included in the wardrobes there. Door hardware 9 in total, so that's 3 for the doors, 6 for the wardrobes. So we've got 9 lots of hardware, 2 hours each at 18. And then door stops for those main doors opening as well, 0.5. Just put those little door stops on. So pretty much that was units 1 and 6 there. As you can see on the plans, it sort of gives you a bit of a detail here down the bottom. Unit 1 first floor plan. It changes everywhere. So here we go, unit 1. There's all the unit 1 elevations. And then here we go, here's unit 2 and 3, and then there's another one for 4 and 5. So all we did for these were pretty much all the same. So what we've done is the only add-in that we've got here is the intertenancy wall. So we pretty much went through to the detail showing the intertenancy wall, copy and pasted the same spreadsheet, moved everything over, double checked the doors, the skirts, the arcs, everything there. Double checked all of those items and then made sure we had everything locked in. And then the only change I know that we had on that was the intertenancy wall. So here's the detail here. Pretty simple to find. So it's just got here solid treated timber battens to jib rondo. So the channel gets fixed to the slab, bolted down, and then they sit the framing inside the slab. So we've got mark out rondo channel 1 hour, screw and fix down the channel 2.5, install the frames. No doubt they'll come pre-made, so 8 hours is very generous there. If they come pre-made, you'll knock those up in 2 hours easy for the bottom floor and the top floor. Install the internal thermal insulation in here as well. Okay, so there's R2.8 wall thermal insulation on either side. And then we're not including the wall jib that's tagged out to a subcontractor. So I made that very clear. Tag that out there. So all we've got there is an additional $1,000 to do that down the bottom there. And then the last scope finally was the cladding. So for unit 1, we just went up to these drawings here. We grabbed this elevation, just showing north, south, east, west. just so we can do a bit of a calculator. Let's move that over there. So once again, unit 1 elevation, so there's none on the back there. East and west. So pretty much what we've done is we calculated the amount of weatherboards we've got up here. Go back to the floor plan, find out how long it was. So that was 0.9. That was 24 at 0.9. That was about 35 at 3 meters. The size of that branch slider was 3 meters. To find that out, you can go to the floor plan or you can go to the window schedule, find out the length of that door, and then times those totals there. And then on the front again, that was half the house, so 34 divided by 2, so that was 17 runs. And this one here, I think was 15 runs, so that was 2.5, and that was 3 meters. So what we did is we added up all those linear meters for that, grabbed the total linear meters, 246. So what we did is we found out online that the average linear meter rate for install, actually I spoke with a builder who's a labor only builder. He said they pretty much get 1850 plus GST a linear meter. So we just sort of times that number by that, and we sort of had to work out around 4.2k. So I went in at 4.16 plus GST. So we did that the same for units 2, 3, 4, and 5. That was the total linear meters for all of those units, and then 451 for unit 6. So that was the difference there. So for unit 6, we had a budget of 8k to do the weatherboards. Unit 1, we had a budget of 4, and unit 2, 3, 4, 5, we had a budget of 12.8. So all in all, giving him a budget of 25.2k plus GST for the weatherboard install. The travel daily charges as well. We just put 2 guys for 3 weeks. So it was like 35 bucks a day for 2 cars for guys to turn up for 2 weeks. And that's how we do it. So yeah, bit of a breakdown just on how we did the labor only units. To tidy up the top as well. So that's total labor for 1 unit. GST, we always put the total labor hours in there just so the builder sort of knows roughly how many hours he's sitting at, and then we times that by 2, that total figure, and we got 72.699. So yeah, that's how we broke out that labor unit. That took me about an hour, hour and a half this morning just to go through and connect all that out. So I believe the builder's pretty happy. He just said, is this ready for tender? And I said, go through, double check, make sure your crew's happy with these rates, make sure you're happy with the amount of time and hours set. Like I said, all we can do is estimate and provide a guideline, but yeah, just off my experience, that's kind of roughly how long I know and things should take. I don't really believe in the constants and working out that stuff. I just talk with the builders. Hey, is this enough time? How much time do you need to allow? I've used my experience, and then I'll adjust, move up or move down, however much time we need. So leave a comment. Let me know if you guys have worked anything out any differently. If you like the breakdown, if you don't like it, leave comments, positive or negative. I'd like to see, adjust, see what we want to learn, and leave a comment. Whatever you guys want to see next, we'll do a little breakout on it. Thanks very much.